This week on Free Range Sailing, we get an unexpected seafood bonus and eat some weeds.
This looks really great. We haven't really cooked like this before yet with a flip fry, like straight over a bed of coals.
There's the usual great sailing and we dodge the sharks for our dinner.
Well, it's blowing like crazy here at Pancake Creek. We've been here about 3 days and it's just been non-stop wind. We've had lots of boats come in. At the moment we've got 2 big boats sitting where we're anchored, a trawler and another big motorboat. We've got the dinghy set up and the beach behind us is quite calm. It's protected from the wind, so we're going to go there and cook up some of the mackerel that we caught a few days ago. So we'll go have a bit of a fire. That'll be nice. I've been really looking forward to having a fire. I've been pestering Troy about it for like a week, so...
Let's go and have a braai.
Yeah. We're cooking mackerel steaks and sweet potatoes with our braai, or what's it called again?
Rooster.
Rooster. This looks really great. We haven't really cooked like this before yet with a flip fry, like straight over a bed of coals. I think we might flip it because I don't want them to burn on that side. So we've had this side cooked. I'm just going to give it a flip. Oh, it's hot.
It's other name of the old flip braai. Ooh.
One of our viewers wrote in to tell us to avoid using driftwood from the sea for a beach fire as it contains dioxins which are very bad for your health. Thanks for the tip. We thought it was worth sharing with everyone.
I think they're done. This one might be a little overdone. Anyway.
Let's eat before we get rained on.
I haven't figured out. Maybe I needed to oil the braai. Not too bad.
Don't worry about a little bit of rip.
But the rain's really set in and I don't think it's going anywhere, so I'll have a bite of the food and show you how yummy it is. Yum. Really good. Look how our mackerel... Oh yeah, you go down. And look how our mackerel turned out. Beautiful.
Oh, it's amazing. We might eat that back on the boat. Oh, it's falling apart.
So good. Oh yum, it's smoky, it's warm, it's perfectly cooked. It's great.
Look at the lengths that we go to bring video to our viewers. We'll finish cooking. I don't think we have to worry about our fire spreading, Pasky. I think we might leave it on the boat. What do you reckon? We gave it a go.
Yeah. Potato's good.
Well, you've caught me in the middle of just taking apart the anchoring system. So, because the whole setup's in the chain locker, which isn't ideal, but a part of dealing, like keeping everything operational, is to pull it apart and give everything a bit of a clean and a lube up, which I haven't done for a little while. So this keyway had a bit of corrosion on it and it was actually stuck in there. Normally you should be able to just slide this off, but I left it a bit long. So I've actually had to, it's been a bit of a morning's job actually getting this out, but it's out now, so I'll give it a clean up, cover it in oil, might have to dig out the Denso tape and hit her up. Well, here we are. We're still in Pancake Creek and we're hard at work on our computers. That's part of free range sailing. I guess you don't get to see much of it.
It's been a couple of days since we've had some exercise. Maybe we can go for a walk on Aircraft Beach as well.
Yeah, yep. So, I mean, if you just have a look at this little bit of aerial footage, you'll see that we're surrounded by a fair bit of reef here. So I think the water's a bit clear, there's a bit of current, but we'll go and check it out and just see what lives there. In this sort of country, stonefish are a real hazard. Their sharp dorsal spines are tipped with a strong venom that has been known to lead to heart failure and causes extreme pain. So anything on the bottom except flat mud aroused our suspicions, and we trod very carefully. Sea cucumbers, on the other hand, present no such danger.
This is Aircraft Beach. It was used as a landing strip for planes to deliver personnel and urgent supplies to Busted Head Lighthouse in its later years of operation. Prickly pear is a feral species in Australia, introduced for its edible fruit. The plant has become widespread in Australia as our native animals enjoy the fruit too. Every part of the plant is covered by fine, irritating hairs, which means handling them can test your ingenuity.
Did you ever think that weed could be something you can eat? Let me tell you about some eating weeds I know. You can munch them all day long while you're singing this weed song, 'cause they're growing almost everywhere you go.
What do you think of those? The prickly pear, first time eating them. Messy.
I'm a little bit stained. They're, you really need to get a ripe one for these feral prickly pears. They taste like they've got some vitamin C in them. So they're kind of acid. But the ones like this that are red all the way to the base are pretty tasty. I reckon you could, if there's a quick way to process them, getting the juice out of them would be pretty good. And they definitely make a good jam.
They're so sour.
Not bad, are they?
I'm just gonna swallow the seed.
Let me tell you about some eating weeds I know. You can munch them all day long while you're singing this weed song, 'cause they're growing almost everywhere you go.
You were just saying, oh, it's not a good walk unless you come back with food. So we came back with food. I feel like it was a good walk, Troy.
I feel like we've had a success now. So we went for a bit of a walk, and Pascal saw the first prawn. I sort of dismissed it. I thought, oh, maybe a trawler's had a mishap or something like that, but we just kept finding them.
Yeah.
So we're dining on prawns. What's your cunning plan for them?
I think we're just gonna pan fry them with butter in the fry pan.
Oh la la.
Just really simple and just enjoy the flavour of prawn. Just prawn. Unadulterated prawn.
They're fine looking prawns. They're already red, eh?
Why are they red? Never seen that before. Okay, I'm just gonna blanch our prawns in some seawater. Boiling seawater. Ooh.
You missed
one
one.
got away. Is it 30 seconds or something?
If that water's boiling,
Yeah.
it's done. You've done them.
I've killed them.
Yep. It's instant.
Okay, cool. I'll drain them straight away then. So I want to cook them on the fry pan.
Yeah, throwing a live prawn on the fry pan is probably
It's a bit cruel.
beyond it.
Do you think I've put too much butter in here?
No such thing.
Last ones. I can't wait to hook in. They smell delicious. They smell like buttery and yum and prawny. That's what we wanted, simple and delicious. I like how their little, what do you call these, antennae? Have gone all curled and they've been fried. I think it's really pretty. Yum.
Yum. That is amazing. That is better than any other prawns I've had.
Yeah, that is delicious. Crunchy.
I think blanching them in the salt water
Mm-hmm.
has left them really a great flavour.
After a few days anchored at the entrance to Pancake Creek, the winds had boosted to 30 knots and the swells up to 3 metres, so we motored Marul further into the creek for better shelter. We were going in on a rising tide, and the flow of the water was contrary to the prevailing winds, which led to a pretty wet and wild trip. Once we'd safely re-anchored, I started preparing us breakfast. This is how we do buckwheat pancakes when we haven't soaked the grains the night before. Okay, so just getting a cup of buckwheat grains into the spice grinder. I'm just going to plug this into our inverter because it's 240 volt. A cup of buckwheat grains, it only took 30 seconds in the spice grinder, so it's pretty effective and pretty quick and dirty way of making pancakes. There we go, 2 spoons of milk powder. This is what we got. I'm just going to add water to the top. I'm just stirring up. And actually put a pinch of salt in as well. So you can cook these in any oil that you choose. You just need a good non-stick fry pan. Now we just gotta wait. One thing that you might not have realised as well is that these pancakes are actually gluten-free. So if you're celiac or you're really sensitive to eating wheat, these are a really great option.
Well, the weather's finally broken. It's going to be 10 to 15 knots today, and we're going out to the reef. Coffee first, we'll wake Pascal up, and then we'll head out there.
we were sailing in through the entrance to Fitzroy Reef, we were especially watchful as it's by no means a straight passage.
You're in bathers again, Pasky. What's
That's
going
right. It's time to go diving again. We've been trapped, well, sitting around waiting at Pancake Creek for 2 weeks to wait for the weather to clear so I could get out here. So I'm very happy.
That bad weather, it led to quite a sloppy sea for the sail out here.
Yeah.
You felt a bit seasick, didn't you?
I did feel a bit sick, yeah.
It's a bit rough. But we crashed our way out here, and now we're here for about a week of good weather. So I think what we should do, Pasky, before we jump in and go diving, because I know you're keen to do it, but I just want to go and look and see if we can get a better anchorage that way, a bit closer to where I want to dive. The only wrinkle in our plan is there's a big area of no anchoring, and I want to see if on the other side of it there is an anchorage. Maybe there is, maybe there isn't.
Yeah.
But the sun's high enough now, we'll go for a bit of a coral reef drive, and then we'll go for a coral reef dive. What do you think about that?
Sounds good.
All right. Let's we'll finish our tea and we'll hit it.
Yeah.
We hadn't seen this no anchoring buoy before we set out. It was right in front of the area that we thought we might be able to anchor Marul. There were no other places we could anchor, so we turned around and went back to anchor at the entrance.
Whenever we come to anchor anywhere, we're in the habit of doing a circle around and checking on the sounder for any obstructions.
All of it.
Now with the anchor in, it was time to get some food in the fridge.
There were plenty of fish to choose from, but we did have to keep an eye out for the resident grey reef shark. While Troy had his arm deep in the coral bommy to retrieve his shot trout, I was keeping a good lookout for the grey reef shark. The visibility was poor, so I was scared he'd sneak up on us. If you look closely, you can see him just off in the distance. He was getting pretty excited from the vibrations the wounded trout had made. Luckily, Troy got the fish out of the coral on his second dive down, and with food for the next couple of days sorted, we headed home.
Thanks for joining us for another week. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. And just a special thank you for everyone that supported us on our journey along the way.
You can follow along with where we're at in real time on Facebook and Instagram, and if you'd like to support our productions, then we've put a link to Patreon and to PayPal in the description of this video.